Hi, I'm Andrew Stevenson, and in today's video we're going to be using Canva to create a handwriting practice book. Now, I've already made this video in Affinity Publisher, but there have been a lot of requests to do some videos in Canva. So this is the free version of Canva, as you can see here. I do have the paid for version as well, but all this is going to be made in the free version. You know, it is limiting, but it can be done. I've also got open the trim and margin page from KDP, just to use as a guide. As you can see, this is the previous video that I made for Canva. It's a aligned journal. Also a bit of exercise log, and we're going to do something similar-ish using the skills that we learned here about setting up margins and making aligned paper, but we're going to use it to create a more niche down book. Again, it's going to be 6x9, and because of the trim size and the bleed size here, this is the important thing really, the margin. So when we're setting up the page, we want to take into account of the bleed. You can do this without bleed, in which case you just do a simple 6x9 book. But we are going to be doing a 6x9 with bleed because I want to add images to it around the edge of the page. And for that reason, our page size will be here, 6.125 by 9.25. And the way that's worked out is the trim height plus 0.125 bleed times 2. For the height, that's the top and the bottom bleed, and for the width, you're only setting up bleed on one side, hence the difference. But if you're unsure, just follow that calculation. So I'm going to do 6.125 by 9.25 inches. Type it in here. Because I've already used it, I'll just click that. And this is the basic page. The first thing I'm going to do is set up a margin. In other design software, you physically type out, you physically set up your margin by adding figures to the margin column, or whatever it is in the software you use. Here we've got to set up something slightly different, and I'm going to use a box to create a frame all the way around, and that way I know not to let any of my text cross into that area which is the margin. And again, down here the outside margins need to be with bleed 0.375 of an inch, so we'll make this box height, it'll have to be 0.4 because that's it goes in one decimal place, but that's fine. And then just go about dragging this rectangle, copy and pasting it, and doing it around the outside of your page. There we go, that is the workable area of the page. So, handwriting practice book, if you don't know what it looks like, it's basically lined pages with an example letter, or maybe a sentence, or even an image, and then space for the child or whoever's going to use the book to copy it out. And that's it in a nutshell. We're just going to be doing a basic book for the alphabet. So I'm going to have a letter here, and I'm going to have lines probably halfway down the page, and then the second half of the page is going to be another letter. You could just do one page per letter, pad your book up that way. You do need a minimum amount of pages, but I'm going to do half. So the first thing to do is to grab some text. I'll just use the heading text. And I will up the size to 100. So that will do. The next thing I'm going to do is set up the lines for the child to practice writing on. So elements and line. Now that line's probably too thick for what I want, so I'm going to change the line weight to 1. And I'll change it to 2. And extend the line. Remember, do not go over this grey area. For the margin, with the line selected, Control C, Control V to copy and paste. And I want, we'll say 6 of those lines for now. I'm going to drag the bottom line to, let's see, halfway down the page. And then select all the lines, go to position, tidy up. That just spaces them out nicely. Drag that back to where you want it. And then I'll just extend these. Bottom lines there. Reposition the A. So that is the basic premise of the book. A letter and space for the child to practice. I'm trying to add a couple of different elements to the book which make it more useful, perhaps more comparable to the professional books that are out there. And the first thing I'm going to do is make little half lines here as a guide for, upper and lowercase letters and, things like that. We'll have a line, a dotted line. I'll change the weight of that to 1. And then kind of get it in the centre there as best you can. That looks in the middle to me. And then with that line selected, you're going to Control C, Control V again. Let's drag the bottom one to where you want the lowest line, which I think, again, I'm just going to say is there. Then select all of your dotted lines, position, tidy up. There, and that has positioned your dotted lines in between your straight lines. Just line these up. Make them longer where necessary. And now it's starting to take shape, a little bit more professional. I'm just going to, I think I need to change the colour of these lines. I'll change them to a darker grey. I changed it more for grey so the letters will stand out more. And now we need to put text here. In this case it's going to be the letter A, and encourage the kid to copy along. In some books you'll find that it is just a letter A, which is quite faint. Like so, I'll just copy and paste this A as an example. And in some cases it'll just be this sort of light A to encourage the child to just draw over it, or in the better books you'll find that it's a dotted font. And luckily the free version of Canva does have a very useful dotted font. It's called Railway Dots. Railway is spelt an unusual way. And I'll just make that into an A. And I'll just copy and paste that a few times. We'll say 4. Select them all, position, space them out nicely, and I'll copy and paste, drag them underneath for a second row, and then again this one I will change the colour. So there's the A to copy, there's a one to trace over, there's a second row of A's to that's more faint, and then the child fills in the rest. Another thing you might want to do is add little arrows to indicate how to move your pen. And again, you can add them here. Just change the weight. Just take a bit of care. So you can add little arrows if you wanted to. You can even add numbers here. To show them the order of which, the order of which way to do your letters. So there's just little things you can do to make it, more professional. So that you've got your letters to trace, you've got little arrows to direct the pen flow, and like I say, you could make 1 page per letter, or you can select all of this, Control C, Control V. drag it underneath, and then set about changing all of these bits here, changing all of these tracing letters, changing the arrows if you're going to use arrows, and that's it. That's a simple alphabet handwriting practice book. You could take this idea a step further, and instead of just having letters, you could have a picture of a cat. Remember, if you're using just black print, if you're using just black ink, be mindful of you need appropriate images. If you were to make your book in, see, this was colour, and I was going to print in black and white. That's fine, that's doable. The images will be black and white, but your preview, the look inside feature, the images will be colour. So people look through your book, see colour images, they get it and it's in black and white. I made that mistake before. So yeah, so instead of letters, you could have animals, and again, instead of these, so instead of it saying A, you could have it saying cat. Just delete these to make it more clear. And have the child trace the letters, and then encourage them to spell cat underneath by themselves. So you could have themes, which could be a separate book in itself. You could have one book as alphabets, a page per letter, upper and lower case, plus numbers. That's going to put you into your minimum page count. Probably, I can't remember what the minimum page count is for black, but you could bulk up the pages to the minimum required by having letters and numbers, and then you could have a separate book, something like my first dictionary, my first spelling dictionary, and do something like this. Have a list of A words like apple, ant, there are other words that begin with A, simple words that a kid might need to know, and have a picture there and encourage them to spell. That's another book. You could have a third book using the same format with full sentences. Start to tell a story maybe, or nursery rhymes, things that are in the public domain. So a nursery rhyme would be a good idea. Have it in dotted letters, and let the kid trace over them. So that's it for the actual physical aspects of the book, the actual workable area of the book. If you're just going to do the alphabet, copy this page as many times as you need it, changing the letters as you go. The next thing that I like to do is I like to add images to the background to again just help it stand out a bit. So instead of having just a white outside along this, you could leave the dark grey there, and it would act as a border of sorts, or you could replace all of this margin with an image, and then that image would be tied in with your niche. So the first thing to do to use the border space is we'll go to elements, we're going to make a new rectangle shape. It's going to be white, and just drag it out so it fills up to the margins. And for position, we're going to send this to the back. So now we know that this entire white rectangle is the size of the page, we can delete these borders. Now I'm going to use a school one, so I'll just for the free version it's a bit of a pain, because you search school, it brings up premium versions and some free. You've got to scroll through and search. There is a filter here, but it doesn't allow you to search by price. I've googled it, and it's a pain in the backside. So feel free to Google and find a way. Or alternatively, they do have a 30-day free trial of the premium version, or there is also the option of buying images. So this is the school. I'll just drop one there, and you could use sport, you could use games, you could use the beach, anything really. So that'll do. And I'll just select all of the don't want to select that. Select all of those schools I've just printed out. So it's like a stamp. And I'm going to send that to the back. So you can see a little bit around the outside. And then if I select my rectangle, I'll just change the opacity ever so slightly. You don't want it to confuse the text, but you want enough of the image to come through so you can tell it's a school. But yeah, you could have footballs or whatever niche you're targeting. So this is the back school niche. If you're targeting a particular hobby, sports, boys and girls, and that's it. A repeating pattern looks nice behind these, but you can scroll forever to try and find a repeating pattern. I will just show you what it looks like. And again, I'll copy and paste it. And again, send that to the back. So repeating patterns do look, they work really well on these sort of books. But it's going to cost you. What does that one cost? 99p for one design. It's not bad, and if you do use a repeating pattern, I'll just pull that transparency back up. So yeah, a repeating pattern does look canny. Obviously, these new lines on the image are just the watermark from the design, so ignore them, they wouldn't be there. And that works really well. If you do the free trial, or you pay 99p, use these images, and then all you need to do is just change the image behind, change your title, you've got a new book using the exact same interior. So that is it for today's video. Hopefully you found it useful. It's a good book that can be repurposed by means of a new cover, new images if you're going to use images, change the letter to an animal, or transport could be another one. You could do the dictionary idea, you could do words, sentences, whatever, all using that same free Dotty font, these same free lines, both the dotted line and the solid line. And that's it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and like and comment on the videos. It really does help me out. And for my regular viewers, I do apologise, bear with us, the next couple of videos are going to be Canva. Just because, you know, I did kind of promise someone that I would do more books for this software. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time.